Remember when Among Us was everywhere? Twitch streams, YouTube compilations, memes that completely took over the internet. It was the game that turned sus into an everyday word. But now, the hype has faded, servers feel emptier, and most of us have quietly moved on. So, what exactly happened? How did one of the most viral games in history go from a cultural phenomenon to a faint memory in just a few years? To understand the fall, we have to start with the rise. Among Us was actually released way back in 2018 by a small indie studio called Innersloth. At first, it barely made a ripple. Low player counts, no major marketing, and it seemed destined to fade into obscurity. Then came 2020. The pandemic had people stuck at home, looking for ways to connect with friends online. Streamers like Sodapoppin', Disguised Toast, and Valkyrie picked it up. And suddenly, it exploded. Its simple mechanics, social deduction gameplay, and accessibility made it perfect for anyone, even non-gamers. It wasn't just a game. It became a shared social event. At its peak in late 2020, Among Us had hundreds of millions of players worldwide. It dominated Twitch viewership, topped mobile download charts, and became a meme factory. You couldn't open Twitter without seeing a new sus joke. Even US politicians like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez streamed it to millions of viewers. The magic formula was simple. It was cheap, easy to learn, and endlessly replayable because no two games felt the same. Every lobby was a mix of lies, accusations, and hilarious chaos. But the very things that made Among Us explode also contributed to its decline. The gameplay loop, while fun, was relatively shallow. After a few months, many players felt they'd seen everything the game had to offer. Unlike competitive games with ranked ladders or constant new maps, Among Us was slow to roll out updates. Innersloth was a tiny team, suddenly overwhelmed by massive success. They scrapped plans for a sequel to focus on improving the original game. But updates took months. Meanwhile, the hype cycle moved on. New multiplayer sensations like Fall Guys, Valheim, and Genshin Impact pulled attention away. Another factor was meme fatigue. Among Us wasn't just a game. It was an internet trend, and trends burn out fast. When every brand, school project, and Twitter account was using sus jokes, it started to feel overplayed. By mid-2021, what had been funny started to feel cringy. On top of that, social deduction games thrive on group dynamics, and those groups eventually drift apart. The core player base stuck around, but the casual masses left for the next big thing. Today, Among Us isn't dead. Far from it. It still has a loyal community, steady updates, and even VR support. But it's no longer the unstoppable juggernaut it once was. Instead, it's found a quieter place in gaming culture, remembered as the game that defined a unique moment in history. In the end, Among Us shows how quickly online fame can rise and fall. The game didn't fail, it just lived through the internet's relentless hype cycle. And maybe that's okay. Not every hit has to last forever. Sometimes, it's enough to be part of something unforgettable. So, was Among Us fall inevitable? Or could Innersloth have kept the momentum going? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch out for anyone acting just a little sus.